Oh, that was fast. Okay. Good morning. We are live. I apologize. We're a few minutes late. I mean, I do say 11-ish now instead of 11 on the dot because let's just be real. It is what it is. Some technical issues this morning, thanks to the pre-Mercury retrograde, whatever the hell, marmalade BS that we have coming in April. That's okay. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So, good morning, Teresa.
Good morning.
Oh my God.
I'm so excited. I'm so happy this morning. Wow.
It's so good.
Wow.
Honestly, you know what's funny is I'm using the same notebook that I used the last time I tried to do the magic. And the last two times, the time before last, I only made it to day 5. I skipped day 6. I did day 7, which is not what you're supposed to do. The book does say if you miss a day, you're supposed to actually go back 3 days. But I was like, I'm not going to do that. And so then after day 7, it didn't go any further. And then thankfully I did actually journal in this particular notebook. And I was like, okay, well, obviously I hit an upper limit because that was when I had my highest cash month to date. And then I totally flaked on the magic because I was upper limiting myself and I couldn't handle more good. Right. And then the last time I did it, I only made it to day 8. And it's funny because I know you and I were talking, I think it was yesterday, about how I have completed the whole magic at least once. Like I have done the entire 28 days. I know you have too. I think we did it together in our, in the program we met in. But I do not remember feeling about it the way that I do now. And I don't remember going at it from the same way that I'm going at it this time. It's just like obviously that's what you want to happen. Like there is supposed to be growth and evolution. And if it's all the same, then you haven't grown and that's not good. But to the degree that it's different, like how crazy is this?
No, I cried yesterday for like an hour. Not even sad tears. It was just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
It's been this easy this whole time. All you got to do is fucking show up. Like after I got done, writing the stuff out, and I was just like, why was it so hard all of these times? It just had so much fucking resistance, and 100% I feel completely different this time. And I'll tell you right now, everything is shifting fast.
Yes.
Fast. That's what I'm saying. Yes. Like I cried yesterday. This morning when I was writing out my gratitude, I was like crying. And I got up and I ran around my room and I was yelling. And I was like, this is it. It's fucking
yeah.
I feel it in the depths of my soul. And anybody who is following along with us, like, to say, if you're doing it like you're supposed to be doing it, there's absolutely no way that you're not having shifts internally in your outside reality. People already showing up differently for you. I've already had a few people enter my reality now that I'm blown away. Literally blown away. I just can't even believe it. Like, in my Instagram video, it's actually 6 minutes long and it didn't take the whole thing. So I just want to speak on that really quick too. It's like, why is gratitude so important? Why is this one simple thing so important to add into our lives? Because our reality, we've said this many times already, is created from our subconscious mind, right? Which is like a projector. It takes our belief systems and it projects it into our outside world, what we see in front of us, right? We are 100% in control of our experience here through this machine of our subconscious mind. And our beliefs are created through our dominant thought patterns. So what happens to us, because it's human nature, as soon as we wake up, we're scanning our reality, we're scanning the universe for all of the shit that's been going wrong, all the negative stuff, what Tom, Dick, and Harry did to us yesterday and last week and a month ago, and how dare them, and what Tina's doing tomorrow, and blah, 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 blah. So think about that for a second, you guys. If our reality is created from our dominant thought patterns, which become our belief system, right? This is what it's operating from. What do you think is happening every day when you get up in the morning? If you don't have something in play to cut this loop of continuous searching for all the negative things and stuff wrong in your reality, okay, you're going to keep having the same experiences over and over and over and over. You are literally creating the same reality over and over and over. And then on top of that, once you start seeing the same things over and over that you do not want, then you, why me? Poor me. This always happens to me. Again, speaking something else into existence. Why me? Poor me. When the subconscious mind's only job is to give you more of what you believe. So it says, oh, poor me. Why me? Everybody does all these things to me. Let me give her more of what she believes. Then you got more experiences, more people who come into your life that are treating you this way.
Yeah.
And then you're wondering, what the fuck is going on? How come I cannot get out of this? How come this is my life? And, you know, I want X, Y, and Z over here, not realizing that it's created in here. There's nothing outside of us that's giving to us. There's nothing outside of us that's taking from us. It's here.
Right.
And when we get this under control, right, life becomes magical. We keep saying this over and over and over. I'm already at wow, fucking wow. And this is day 5.
Yeah.
I'm already there. Like,
yeah.
Holy shit. This is exactly what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And just know, even if you are stuck in these cycles, this, I'm not telling you this so that you can sit there and beat yourself up like, oh my God, I have been doing it. No, it should be like, wow, here's my aha moment. That something this simple, rewrite my story, focus on all the gratitude in your life. Because when we focus on all the gratitude, the same way the subconscious is going to deliver more of the negative stuff that we're scanning for, now it's going to scan the whole fucking universe, not just your reality, the whole universe, and start bringing you in more experiences to prove this gratitude that you're speaking of, that you're feeling in your soul, to give you more of it. Think about that. Think about that for a second. That is so powerful. You're not only are you changing your whole reality into your dream life. Literally, this is how we start creating our dream life. This is how we start getting rid of resistance. This is deleting old programming just by fucking gratitude. Because let me tell you, day 5, what was bothering me 5 days ago, I don't give a shit about right now. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even exist. None of it. Fear is not even in me today.
Yeah.
You know, and a little bit off subject, but just to have that realization that we've shifted. Like we've totally shifted. We've shifted to our dream life already. Like, I just want to remind you guys on this journey, okay, you're going to have people who do not believe in you. They don't believe in anything that you're saying. And it comes from the people who are closest to you. It just came up again today for me. And before, I would just feel so terrible. Like, oh my gosh, I just shared something from the bottom of my soul with you. Like, people who don't even know me, strangers that I tell this story to, are screaming and yelling for me. But the people closest to me doubt me. Why? Because this journey doesn't necessarily happen overnight. Right. So we keep saying these things. We keep, hey guys, this is how this works. Hey, this is how that works. And because they haven't seen the shifts on this grandiose scale in your own life, they doubt the things that you're saying. And they put this energy on you that can stop you in your fucking tracks and make you not even believe in yourself. Yeah. It's crazy. So I just want to remind you, like, you're going to experience this on this path. Don't fucking stop. Don't stop. I posted on my story today. Literally, one of my affirmations is, I am the first millionaire in my family. I am. I fucking am. Then pop up for that meme affirmation to pop up on my For You page today was like, oh my God. Yeah. You know, if you guys know about birds before landing, you'll start seeing signs and synchronicities, and you'll feel it in your soul that the universe is saying, hey, what you've been asking for, here's a confirmation that that shit is on its way. The gratitude that I have in my heart right now is insane. Yeah. Insane. Thanks to the birds this morning. you know, and it's funny because they're coming up to my sliding door. I can see them in the back window, just so many. But in one of my affirmations, or not even affirmations, in my scripting that I would write, I would say that I no longer have to work a 9-to-5 job. I get to get up every morning in peace, knowing that I'm working towards my dreams. And something as simple as hearing the birds chirping while I'm drinking my coffee is what I get to experience every morning. And I had that realization today, like, oh shit, I'm sitting here writing out my gratitude, drinking my coffee. Not only can I hear the birds chirping outside, which just lit up my soul, but they're coming to my sliding door like, hey, baby, you know,
you hear me? Yeah.
if you forget for a second that you're on the right, you're on the right path, and things are actually manifesting and coming to life for you. Here you go. Here you go. Here's a simple reminder. Like, wow, fucking
Proof.
wow, guys.
Yeah.
Wow,
Well,
fucking wow.
And that's totally. And I want to keep going on what you were saying about, you know, family being not necessarily unsupportive, but the thing is, like what Teresa's getting at is the shifts happen inside of you before anything on the outside changes, right? And so this is the part where it's the hardest to stay with it, because you learn something. You learn that gratitude changes it. You learn that scripting is powerful. You learn that, you know, listening to these subliminals is going to change the way your mind is programmed, blah, 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 right? And then you start to feel different, right? You start to feel different. You start to notice that you're thinking about things differently. Like I remember one time, I don't know why this sticks out to me so much, but I guess I had been working on, well, I mean, this has always been something that I've been working on. But I've been working on my financial abundance, right? And I somehow, this is like years ago, I had convinced myself that our bank accounts were higher balances than they were, right? And then I remember we were having a conversation with my husband. We were sitting in our hot tub, we were having a conversation, and I said something about something we were going to buy or wanted or something. And then he said something that reflected our actual reality. And it took me a minute to go, what are you talking about? And then I was like, oh yeah, right. Like I'm a little bit delusional. We're not actually there yet. But unfortunately, in that moment, that snap back to reality, I, for whatever reason at the time, I guess that I ran with what was actually happening, and he kind of brought me back. He didn't mean to, like, it wasn't intentional. I don't even think that he knew that I was like where I was at, you know, because I wasn't really talking about it with him at this point either. But so it hindered my progress, right? So what I should have done and what I do now is I continue to look for proof. Like, okay, I get that you don't understand how it works. I get that that's what your reality is reflecting to you, but my reality is X, Y, and Z. My reality is that every dollar I spend comes back to me. My reality is whenever I have a larger expense or a bigger unexpected bill or whatever, that is just proof that the money is coming in to pay this bill, right? And so what I'm getting at is the people around us, not only, like, a lot of the people want to see physical manifested proof, like, and they don't really realize they're asking to see the proof, but they don't believe, because they can't see into your mind and see how it's processing information differently now than it used to. And on top of that, the people in our lives, friends, family, spouses, whatever, they came into our life when we were aligned for them to be in our life at the time. A lot of them will expand with us because that is the ripple effect of this work. And I, you know, in my reality, I choose to believe that the people I love and trust and who love me and genuinely want the best for me and all of that are going to elevate with me, whether it's at the same time or, you know, it'll ripple out and they'll catch up, right? Because light always wins over darkness. But you have to remember that some people who are not at the enlightened, you know, like higher up the consciousness. There's a map of consciousness that was created by Dr. David Hawkins, which is really fascinating. There's a whole book on it. It's borderline too scientifical. Is that a word? I don't know. For me to understand, but I did read the whole book because it was very, 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 very cool. But basically, you have to remember that not everybody is on the same path as you. Not everybody's on the same journey as you. Not everybody is up to speed with where you're at, right? And on top of that, some people with lower level consciousness who are not, especially the ones who are not meant to evolve with us, are going to try to hold you in a box that appeals to them and what they believe that you are. Okay. Right. So you have to also keep that in mind. You have to also keep that in mind when you're looking at your relationships that are evolving or not, or whatever, and continue to question how you may be keeping people in a box that they don't belong in either, because that's your experience of them. And that's these people's experience of you. Right. So it's really backing up and taking a look at it all and going, okay, you know what? If I continue to react to this person or these situations or these conversations the way that I always have, it's only going to perpetuate the relationship being where it is. So if I want to elevate the relationship, I need to be so faithful in what I know that I can speak freely on what's happening, right? Or even just in conversations, like if somebody says something about, oh, I can't afford that, you can, feel okay to say, you know what? Maybe try saying it this other way, right? And some people are not going to be into it at all, and they're going to totally make fun of you. And then, you know what? That's fine. They're not meant to, you know what I mean? They're not meant to evolve right now.
The way I see it now too, and it's all perspective shifts, right? The way my mind sees it now is like, oh, here's another breadcrumb I left for myself to remind me of my higher self and where I need to go. Right? Because we get triggered in that moment. That's because we get triggered in that moment. Okay, there's another breadcrumb I left. What was I supposed to remember from this breadcrumb that I left?
I love that.
With them responding to me in that way. So now it's like, it's going to happen. Your energy, everything's going to drop in that moment. You're going to feel unsupported, and then boom, shift that shit so fast. Like, okay, this is a breadcrumb to where I'm going. What was I supposed to get here? What am I missing? What piece of the puzzle that's taking me to this next level that I'm getting to? Then it becomes fun. It becomes a game.
Totally.
It becomes a game. It really does.
Well, the whole thing is kind of a game.
Shock is going to hit you hard. This is what we're saying. Like,
yes, it is.
Take it in. Let that shit go. Breadcrumb to where we're going. Let's go. Where is this trigger coming from?
I love that. But it is all a game, because really, like, what I've really in the past probably since September, I'm going to really, like, I think you guys have heard me refer to September on like quite a bit. This is like when I really intentionally started kind of using my own journey and my own manifestations as kind of an experiment, as a game, right? And I was just like, okay, well, whatever. Like, if I fully believe what I believe and what I teach and what I share and what I read and all of this, if I, like, let's see, let's put it to the test. Like nothing bad is going to happen. I know that everything's always working out for me. I definitely am at that point now. So let's just see what happens. And so from September on was really when I got really like deliberate with it, when I was manifesting coming home. But I remember I would something would be going on in my reality and I would go, okay, but this is my reality. And in my reality, XYZ. In my reality, this unfolds this way. In my reality, this means that. In my reality, blah, blah, blah. So like, I'm talking even down to like my husband and I are having an argument and he's, I think I've even given this example before and he's, saying whatever he's saying to me. And I'm sitting there like, well, in my reality, these kinds of things don't happen and we get along peacefully and everything, goes smoothly and our relationship continues to elevate. And at first,
we need to start saying right now in this moment, in my reality, Mercury retrograde does not affect anything in my life.
No, nothing. I am totally unaffected by Mercury retrograde. It does not affect me. I am living in ease and grace all along. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But so at first it's hard, right? To look at something less than favorable and go, okay, no, in my reality, XYZ, or to bring it back to gratitude, to look at it and be grateful for something that is not something that you would have deliberately asked for if you could go back and like change how you react. If you could go back and say, okay, it was this thought or it was this moment or it was this experience that tailspinned into this, experience, I definitely would go back and change it. And I wouldn't do it that way. Right. But you have to show like Teresa's saying, like gratitude for the moments. Okay, well, this is a breadcrumb I left for myself. Thank you, past self and future self and higher self for putting this here, for helping me see you know, what I have to learn. And like for me, you know, I've gone many years, you know, intentionally trying to manifest all kinds of financial abundance to, I mean, the funny thing is it was happening all along, but I wasn't grateful for it enough. So it kept being taken away from me. Right. Because I kept looking at, okay, well, if I don't even remember some of my goals because they also started fluctuating. And that's also a sign of lack of belief, is fluctuating goals instead of just having the one thing and you just know it's coming and you're working towards it. Right. But instead of focusing on what had come, like my biggest cash month that I told you that I ended up upper limiting myself. Instead of being extraordinarily grateful for what it is and I know how awesome it is and how much that changed my life, I went right back to, okay, next month I got to do it again. I got to top it. I got to manifest more. And it's like, no, that's not, you know, like I didn't spend hardly any time celebrating it. I did go out and buy myself a couple of things because I thought that I should, because that's what people are like. I was very much stuck. And this is one of the things that Nicaragua showed me, the experience, the move, the everything personally, was that I was very caught up in what I thought it should look like to be accepted as somebody who does what I do. Like, because a lot of the manifestation teachers and coaches and stuff that I was following at the time are like, here's my Malibu this, and here's my Bentley that, and here's my fucking Hermes this, and here's my diamond that. So I was like, okay, well, I want to keep up. So when I hit a big cash month, I'm going to spend some of the money to show off how much money I just made, you know, to like, as like proof. Right. And now I'm at the point where like, okay, no, like that's not even what I'm here to do. And I'm not saying that I don't want fancy, luxurious things. Like I'll buy a G-Wagon tomorrow if it falls into my lap. Like I'm not saying I won't. Right. But I'm at the point now where I realize that that's not where I'm at right now. Like that's not the goal. The goal is just to be able to say yes to whatever, whether it's, you know, dinner out or plane tickets.
That doesn't define your success or not, or excuse me. Our it doesn't want me to say this. Throat chakra closing up.
No, don't do it.
It doesn't affect the impact that we have on the world by showing up exactly how we are, where we are.
Exactly.
And I feel like, you know, that's just a mental trap that we get stuck in. Well,
not enough.
I don't have all of this shit to show them, so they're not going to believe me and what I'm saying. They're not going to believe, you know, that what I teach works or whatnot. You feel like you have to show all of these material things,
right, in
order for people to listen to you in a way, you know. But it's not true, because think about it. I mean, this whole time I'm not claiming, I don't want to claim that I'm broken, but I was making a fucking huge difference in people's lives from that place. And that's another thing, you guys. It's like, you don't have to be perfect to start where you are. There's people who need you right now, today, exactly where you are, exactly how you are, with the maybe few things that you have, right? Don't let it stop you. Don't let it stop you. And I think that it's people really enjoy authenticity, you know. They love that more than anything. And to be able to say like, oh my God, she's just like me. She's been where I've been at, like, and then as they hit the, you know, the next levels, they see like, oh wow, Teresa was here last year, but look at where she is today. Oh my gosh, I'm headed on the right path, in the right direction. Whereas when you show up with all of these things right from the beginning, sometimes it doesn't allow the people who are meant for you to connect with you. It doesn't feel in alignment.
Yeah.
You know?
I actually had somebody say that to me. She's like, you know, that's one of the things I love about you is that, you know, I have a hard time relating to some of the girls, even like I've been following them for a long time, but now they're so rich and they're so successful and they're so this and they're so that I have a hard time seeing myself in them now, even though, and especially for those who come along, these women where they're at now, like they haven't been following since the beginning. So they don't know kind of where it came. And now I'm not trying to say either that we need to stay in struggle mode so that we're relatable, because that was also something that I was stuck in. And I caught myself, I'm gonna go off on a side tangent for 1 second. I caught myself, not even that long ago, realizing that I was looking at all of the past struggles and then relating from that point. And I'm like, but why does it have to be about that? Why can't it be about where we're going? Right. But then also something I realized, even before we left for Nicaragua, it was like, as soon as we decided we were going to go, the pressure came off of me to try to do this like materialistic thing, because I can't take it with me. You can't get it down there. So it's not like I just like the sense of needing to prove something slipped away, which was nice. And then I started to be able to see what was actually important, which is like, I actually, like, I'm happy though. Like, even if I don't have millions of dollars, you know, I'm happy. And I have a beautiful family. Like, I'm looking at these other people and it's like, okay, yeah, you have all of these things that I don't have, but I have a family that loves me. I have a husband that unconditionally loves me. Like, yes, there have been moments where we've almost separated. Yes, there have been times when he did not support what I was doing because he didn't get it. But neither of us gave up. We've evolved through it. And now he full on, him and my son both show me absolute unconditional. Like the other day, my husband looks at me and he's like, you know what? You are glowing right now. I was literally, my hair was a freaking disaster. I'm wearing sweats. And he's just like so into it. And I'm just like, that is like the nicest, right? So no amount of Chanel bags and freaking Louboutins are going to do that for you, right? So I started to look at it from that perspective, and I was like, okay, you know what though? Like, yeah, you have all these fancy things in this big, beautiful house, and you know, all these spare bedrooms and this, you know, expensive this and that way. But are you actually happy? Right? Because that's a lot of things that's something that a lot of people cannot actually say, is that they are actually happy, content, and peaceful with where they're at. Right? And all of that is because
your soul is not being fulfilled. You have to connect mind, body, spirit, everything. You can have all the money in the world, right? And then you get to a point like, what the fuck am I even here for?
Well, exactly.
What's so great about this life?
Right.
And then again, everything's leading us back to gratitude again.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Everything comes back to gratitude, because just like you're saying, right? You guys have gone through all these things and stuff like that. I mean, we just did magical relationships.
He was number one. I listed number one. Yeah.
You know, it's always coming back to center, coming back to self, grounding yourself.
Yeah. But
you have to have direction. How do you do that? Where are you going? Again, I mean, I can't stop saying this. This is why we are doing the magic.
Yeah.
To help everybody, even ourselves, wherever we're at, you know, every time you do it, you get something else out of it. We're ever evolving, you know. It's just like books. I can't wait for the books that we have coming, because it's going to be a completely different experience this time. Like, we're already blowing through freaking ceilings right now. Like, we're shooting beyond the stars. I'm telling you, I can't even. I can't. My gosh. Everything is energy and vibration, right? Frequency. Gratitude puts us in alignment to the God frequency within us.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. I mean, we know that telepathy is real. Psychic abilities is real. We know that thought transmission, one of the laws of the universe, right, is real. But when you practice gratitude and you actually put yourself in complete alignment, everything starts manifesting even faster, like at a rapid rate. Like, you're so connected. I'll give you an example. I was taking a shower yesterday, and I was giving thanks to somebody who just entered my life. That's like, whoa, this is just crazy. Like, I've been manifesting, you know, my soul tribe, people who add value to my life on another level. That's just like, I can't even fathom myself. And this is what this person does. And it's just like reciprocated energy. That's so amazing and beautiful. Mm-hmm. I don't have everything that they have, but their soul is not fulfilled in the way mine's is, and the way I can bring to your life on that level. But anyway, so I was in the shower, and gosh, the water is so powerful. I get so many downloads. I think I said this before. And I was talking to the person in my head, and I was like, yo, I am shooketh. I never use that word. Okay. But in the shower, I'm like telling them, I am shooketh at where life is going. I was like, my bro, like, this is it. Like, we're going to take each other to the next level in life. Like, we can't even, I can't even speak. Like, there's no words to describe how amazing and beautiful it is, right? And I was like, shooketh. And I'm like dancing and singing in the shower. And then I get out of the shower and they called me and we're talking. We're like, shit, this is crazy. I feel so creative. And then he's like, I am shooketh.
Like, no.
I said, excuse me, what did you just say? He's like, I am shooketh. Have you ever heard that word before? I was like, no, you got to be kidding me right now.
Yeah, I literally made it up 30 seconds ago.
I never used this fucking word. Yeah. And I kept talking to him in my head in the shower, like, dude, like this shit, we're going to take off, you know? And then for him to repeat it to me is like, holy cow, we are so powerful. And when we're in alignment,
yeah,
it's just on a whole different level that you can't even explain.
No. And you know what? I need to piggyback on that because I had a similar, it wasn't with anybody else, but a similar experience. I have been working on something for a while. Like the idea came to me in August and I've literally been like picking away at it. And then I kind of left it for a while. I had you guys, I had a lot of shit going on the last 6, 7, 8 months, whatever. So it got kind of put on the back burner and then I kind of resurrected it earlier this year. And I was like, okay, no, like this, it needs to be like out there. Like I need to put this together. So I've been kind of asking the universe, like, okay, help me like streamline this. Cause I have like, right at this point, it was still like all these like ideas, but there was no way to make it like a cohesive, like easy to follow. Like basically what I'm trying to do is like, streamline the entire manifestation process into like a few steps that are like anybody can execute them on anything and it's going to work. Like they're fail proof, right? Because I know what I know and I know what works, but I also know trial and error and all these things. So I want to like, anyway. So I've been kind of asking the universe, okay, like how do I streamline this to make it the most impactful? Because I know this is going to be amazing. And so then several days, like before we started the magic, I had a couple of ideas, and I think I sent you that graphic that I made of the diamonds loading or whatever. I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then so that was good. That was fine. And then, but since then, I'm like, okay, but I still need like the framework. Like I need help here, right? Like I'm trying to. And then I heard somebody say, like, this is why you have to be careful what you consume on social media, right? Because I heard somebody say, like, okay, you want to be more successful than somebody else in your field, like do it in half the time or condense the steps or like whatever. So I'm like, oh my God, like, how am I going to, I don't even, okay. So I'm trying to, condense the steps and make it short and sweet and all this and whatever. Wasn't really happening. And I was in my Kajabi portal and you should see this clusterfuck of shit doing because I'm trying to put labels and I'm trying to put it together in a way. And it wasn't happening. And then we started the magic. And of course I have this intention still set that I want to, like Teresa, you probably do the same thing. Like when I have an intention for something like a bigger thing, it's kind of like an ongoing like conversation that I'm having with the universe. And we just have like that understanding that like, this is what we're, working towards. And then the other day I found myself, which doesn't happen very often, home by myself. Like my husband went off, my son went off, and I was just like, hanging out. So I was reading Power of the Subconscious Mind. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to like sit here and just like fall asleep or something in the sun. Like I almost never do absolutely nothing. And I thought, no, you know what? Like I really feel called to just like put this down and do nothing. And so then I'm laying there and I'm like half asleep. And then I get this like download for like an acronym to use. And I was like, okay, well, that's not bad. And I'm kind of like hashing out how the acronym is going to work for this like formula that I'm trying to like streamline. And then all of a sudden I get a different one. And then I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, I was trying to stay relaxed. And then I was like, no, I got to get up and get my fucking notebook. So I went up and I got my notebook and I said to my son came down from his visit with his grandparents. And I was like, Dominic, I'm having ideas. I got to get my notebook. So then I started writing, and then I got cardstock and Post-it notes. And I laid out the entire thing that I've been working on for weeks and months. It happened in like literally like 8 minutes, the whole thing done. And I was just like, holy shit, that was easy. And then I just had this like overwhelming gratitude, of course, because I'm just like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. This is this is it. And then I ran with it, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is so good. So now I'm fired up even more.
Divine inspiration, you know?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. But like you said, gratitude puts us. Yes, well, exactly. Because relaxation and gratitude together, right? Now, obviously, like full transparency, Teresa and I are also doing other things that are, we've been on this path for a while. We're also listening to subliminals. We're both working with various mentors and coaches and stuff like this. So it's not like we're only doing the magic. However, I want you to understand that the magic of the magic is still very, very potent. And I do believe that it is what is tipping the scale hugely in our favor, because gratitude, and I don't know if it says it in this book or if it's a different book. I think it does say it in this book too, but gratitude puts you like Teresa was saying, on God's frequency. Like it puts you right there. Gratitude is the holy grail. I put a post up the other day that I said, look, perspective is everything and gratitude is the holy grail. Because if you can look at even the worst, and this is where the silver lining thing comes from, right? If you can look at even the worst shit that's going on for you and find something to be grateful for, find some silver lining. Like my absolute low point last year in November, which my dad he brought it up the other day, and he's like, I realize, he's like, you don't really talk about it, and I'm not really going to pry, but I understand that's like must have been like one of the low points in your life, right? And I was like, yes. And he's like, that's when you went to the church? I said, yes. And he's like, okay. He's like, but you would never know that now. Like you are the happiest person I know. I would have no idea that you went through something so bad that you don't even want to talk about it, and that you went into a church. Cause I don't do organized religion really, right? Like I'm in with God and all that, but I don't do churches. Okay. But I needed the help. Like I've said to you guys before, like I needed God's help. And that like got me all ignited, but it was because in those moments I said to him, I was like, it was so bad that I literally had no other choice than to just find the fucking silver lining and focus on that, and just know that part of the silver lining is that this is going to be part of a really fabulous comeback story. Right. And I had to.
And this is what happens though too, right? We're asking for all of these things. We're asking for God, the subconscious, which is our direct connection to that God source energy for all of these things. Okay. But we're not listening to the messages. Right. We're not following the guidance. Right. And sometimes we're just not fucking moving, or we're holding on so tightly to this life that we've been living
because it's comfortable. We know it. Yeah.
Once this energy is in motion, it's in fucking motion. You either are going to go peacefully, or you're going to go dragging your feet, because it says you've been putting this shit out here that you want X, Y, and Z, this better life, this dream life. I'm trying to fucking take you there. You're not listening. Yeah. You want to keep doing things your fucking way. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to shake you the fuck up.
Yes.
So you have no choice but to do it my fucking way. Your higher self, your God source energy that knows exactly what we need to get where we want to go. So the only way to get there is for us to surrender the need to know, have faith that it's all fucking coming, because it is law of the universe. It has to come. Do not be double-minded. Follow the nudges, the divine guidance, intervention, right? When we get an idea in our mind, when we're on this path, it didn't come out of nowhere. It's been placed there. Yeah. And it's a promise that if you follow that, you're going to get to that pot of gold, that rainbow that we all want, that pot of gold. It's going to take you there. That's what happened to you. It's happened to me too. Yeah. It got to a point where I'm like, okay, I had enough. I don't know what the fuck else to do. Okay, go ahead. Take over. Leave me.
Exactly.
And then that's when everything gets magical. And the more that you fucking deny that side and you keep pushing it away and you don't want to listen, it's roadblock. It's dark. It gets really fucking dark really quick. And you're left with no other option than to get on your knees and fucking pray. But what is prayer? What is prayer? We have been taught about God, right? That this source, that when we pray to God, we get everything that we want. God delivers your dreams, your desires, and delivers you from what? From the evil, from all the things that you don't want. It's here. God is in here. God is the subconscious mind. That's your direct connection to this source, to this magic, to this machine, whatever the fuck you want to call it, whatever you want to believe that it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's your connection to it.
Yeah.
The same thing. We keep talking about the subconscious mind. How does it work? We cannot be double-minded. With God, you cannot be double-minded, right? You have to have this faith and this belief that God is working in your life. Same thing with the subconscious mind. You have to have this faith and this belief that what you are asking for, the commands that you are giving it, are going to be delivered. This is where I say, like, we are God in human form. We're made in the image of God. This is where we start connecting spirituality, manifestation, reality creation with God, with Christ. It's Christ consciousness. Where they say there's no way to God besides through the Son. You better fucking believe that. That's true. Because when Dr. David Hawkins, his levels of consciousness, what is at the top? What does he have on there? Christ consciousness is at the top of the list. When you achieve Christ consciousness, you come into your God self. You are in alignment with the God frequency of the universe. God gives us whatever the fuck we want, right? That's what we're told. God delivers everything, all of your dreams, desires. God will give it to you through Christ consciousness. Our God self then delivers everything that we fucking want and desire. It doesn't matter how big, how small, it doesn't matter. It is all possible, right? It's Philippians 4:13 or something. Okay. Yeah. It's all possible through it, through God, through Christ. Through God, yeah. This is what we're doing. This is,
I think part of the problem that I had, not recently, like when I started, and a lot of people I see coming into this knowledge now, is that we think it has to be like more difficult. Like it can't be that easy to just get an idea and then listen to it. And then like just stupid things like, and of course it's more obvious when you don't listen and then something happens and you're like, I wish I'd done. Like when you leave the house and you have this thought, I better grab my reusable bags. And then you don't, because you're not planning on going to the grocery store or whatever. And then you end up on the way home somewhere thinking, I want to make XYZ for dinner. I better stop and get a few things. And then all of a sudden you're at the store and you're going, fuck, I didn't bring my reusable bags. I should have listened to myself. Right? Like it's that simple, but that is one of the best ways to practice it. And then the gratitude you'll feel for your own self guiding you to the things you need. Like sometimes that will have you avoid an accident. You know what I mean? Sometimes it'll have you skipping out on somebody who turns out to be a total loser and is going to, you know what I mean? Ends up totally, whatever. There's all kinds of examples. But my point is, I think a lot of us think that the breakthroughs, the epiphanies, the guidance, the intervention is going to be this like, Las Vegas sign with flashing lights and arrows and all of this stuff. And it's not. Like I had an epiphany, a shower epiphany a few weeks ago. And I remember thinking like, I love how easy it is. And then I remember kind of in that same moment, realizing that a lot of people don't let it be that easy because they think it has to be this whole long drawn out experience. And I need to have a struggle first to overcome and blah. It's like, no, literally having a realization and then just changing your thinking from that moment forward. That is a miracle. That is a shift. You don't need like a lot of people coming into this, replay or live recording right now are going to leave different. You're going to leave shifted. It's that simple.
Yep.
Like it doesn't need to be this whole complicated thing. Like people talk about quantum
and that's the thing though. It's little shifts every single day.
Yeah, over time.
Then it turns into that big fucking shift at the end of the little shifts that are guiding you and taking you there.
And that's why
we don't even realize it.
Yeah.
We spoke about this. That's happening right now.
Yeah.
We could easily get caught up right now that we're not where we want to be. But if we take ourselves back into this moment right now, look at how much we've accomplished already.
I'm exactly where I want to be right now.
Me?
Yes.
Are you
exactly.
kidding me?
Exactly.
I had that realization the last couple of days too. Like, holy shit, you are living out your manifestations right now. One by one, everything is falling into place. Don't lose sight of that. Well, you are going to where you want to be right on time.
Yes. And shifting your perspective to look for proof that you already are. Like, I have a very strong theory that we are all already living our ideal reality, but only to the degree that we're allowing it in. Right? Like, the universe wants you to live everything that you want, but we block it with our beliefs, with our negative self-talk or whatever. So here's an example. So, as I said, something that I've been manifesting on and off the entire time I've been deliberately manifesting, which is even what drew me into thinking it was cool to begin with, was financial abundance. Okay. And so one of the things that I've been manifesting and that I affirm all the time is that I always have more than enough for everything that I need and want. But I caught myself looking at the balances and going, but it's not, it's not 6 figures this, it's not this much that, I don't have this much coming in, I still want, and then I was like, okay, hang on, back up. You lived in a tropical paradise for 15 months, which, by the way, I said to my husband the other day, I was like, do you understand? Like, I didn't just like bring something to your attention here for a second. Cause I was like, we obviously had a lot of like lessons and things we needed to learn. And the universe loves us so much that it's like, okay, you need to learn these lessons like yesterday. But because I love you, I'm going to put you in a tropical paradise where you're going to live on vacation basically for 15 months while you learn these lessons. And then you're going to come back and life's going to be the same, but different in so many ways that you're going to appreciate it in a level you never have before. And he was like kind of laughing. He's like, oh yeah, I guess that's true. So anyway, so my realization was, okay, hold the phone. You sold everything you owned, which enabled you to, on top of the income you were making for, this is me talking to myself, for the year, whatever you were gone. Yes, your business did not take off the way you wanted it to while you were gone. However, the lessons you learned and are incorporating now are going to have it go that way now. And I can, like, it's happening. Anyway. So you were able to live not really working that much, on vacation for like 15 months. You were able to homeschool your son. You were able to pay for everything you needed to pay for. You came home, you bought a vehicle with cash, like pay full out, no financing, no nothing, paid for that. Tons of, not tons, but whatever, money left over in the savings account, checking account, whatever. Fast forward to this past weekend. So right before we moved, our oven started to act up and started to, like, the burners are not working properly. The oven is, the temperature is off, whatever. So, but we didn't bother replacing it because, like, we're moving. So when we got back, I was like, oh yeah, the oven needs a little TLC. So we've been looking and looking and looking. And anyway, so this past weekend we went out and we bought, and we did get a good deal on it. The oven, we walked in and we were like, okay, well, it's $1,900 at this so-and-so place. And we're price comparing, and guys, like, I could do it for $1,778. And we're like, done. Perfect. But I was able to pay for that with cash also. Still tons of money left over, still money in savings, still money in checking. The balance can even come out of, it doesn't even have to come out of savings. It can come out of the checking, and we've still got money. Like, this is a life that I dreamed about years ago. Okay. So yeah. Okay. I'm not at the income level that I want to be at yet. And cancel, clear, delete. The income level that I want is unfolding gracefully now. And in the meantime, I have more than enough to do everything I want. Like right now, my son and my husband are off doing a Father-Son Day because I've got some things I need to get done today. And I know that whatever they do, whatever they choose, wherever they choose to eat, whatever they choose, it's fine. They can, whatever. And there was a time in my life where I literally had to think about canceling like Netflix because we couldn't afford the bill, but we also couldn't afford to do anything else. And I was like, that's really the only entertainment we have. So I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to do that. But there was literally a moment in time where we had like tons of debt. I had creditors phoning, phone cut off, no money at all.
I remember
and now, yes, it was fucking awful. It was awful. And now I'm at a point where I have more than enough to do anything that I want. And yeah, I'm not a millionaire yet, but it's coming.
Oh yeah.
And the beautiful thing about, in the meantime, that we've realized is that it's not the money that makes things more enjoyable. It's the ability to say yes that makes things more enjoyable, because now I can live freely without having to worry about what the bank balance says. But I'm not going to go out and buy a Maserati either. Like but I don't need that either. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't need that. We have a Honda CRV. Okay. And it's perfect for exactly what we need. It's amazing on gas. The insurance is not expensive. We get we can pick up our stove in our little, you know what I mean? Like, there's enough room in the trunk. Like, it is perfect for what we need. I don't give a fuck what it looks like. Like old me would be like, I can't talk about, I have this, if this is not good enough, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? I don't give a fuck. It's a vehicle. It gets me around. And you know how abundant you are to even have a vehicle? Like I was just living in a country where they don't have running fucking water. These people are walking for hours in the sun with a baby on their hip to go to the store to buy a pack of laundry soap to wash in their little fucking bin that they got out of the stream after it rained. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, no, you guys have so much to be grateful for, and a simple perspective shift to see how you, like, look at the degree you're allowing your ideal life in, and then be grateful for how it is showing up, and it will show up more and more and more. I promise you that. But so many of us, especially in the first world, because we are spoiled, fucking ungrateful little shits who don't appreciate what we have, we're not taking the time to be grateful for all of what we have. And therefore, we are not being given more. And continuously then, on top of that, like Teresa was saying at the very beginning, then we're looking around, scanning our reality for our aches, our pains, our poor me, shit always happens to me scenarios. And it's like, well,
that's where this, in the book, if you notice, each chapter that we're going into, it says, whoever has gratitude will be given more, and he or she will have an abundance. Whoever does not have gratitude, even what he or she has will be taken from him or her. Mm-hmm. The first time, the last couple of times we did this, it didn't hit as much as it's hitting now.
Yes.
Now that we understand how the subconscious mind works, again, because when we're not focusing on gratitude, we're focusing on lack, and it increases whatever we are focusing on. This is why, right? If we do not focus on gratitude, it will be taken from us because we're focusing on the opposite. There's another part in here. It says, and remember, when God proclaimed, if you are grateful, I will give you more. But if you are ungrateful, verily, my punishment is indeed severe. Damn. It's deep.
It is. And something else that I want to make clear is like, some people are probably thinking like, well, why would God give you negative circumstances? Why would, how is it possible that the subconscious mind doesn't just, take the underlying context? Because the subconscious mind doesn't have the ability to rate things on a scale of 1 to 10 goodness and think, like, it doesn't have the ability to say this is good and this is bad. It literally only, and we've said this, like, I don't know how many times, I need to just drive it home though. Literally, your subconscious mind believes anything you tell it. And it even believes things you say about somebody else, or even like movies you're watching, believes it's happening to you, which is why you need to be careful about what you say, what you watch, who you're hanging out with, all of that. Because your subconscious mind cannot look at, I don't want more bills. All it sees is the context of the focus of the thought, which is bills, and gives you more of that because that's what you are focusing on. This is why I have changed my perspective on the need to like hash out limiting beliefs and things like that. Like there is obviously power in uncovering what the limiting belief is, and that's fine and good. But then from there, what would you rather believe? You know what I mean? Like, instead of focusing on the fact that my income is not where I want it to be, I focus on the fact that no matter what my income is, for the past several months now,
what you just said right now, let's go to chapter 1 in the beginning. It says, do you believe in magic? Those who do not believe in magic will never find it. What are you going to believe in? This first beginning, before it starts the first chapter, is so powerful. Let me just read this. It says, remember when you were a child and you looked at life in total wonder and awe. Life was magical and exciting, and the smallest things were utterly thrilling to you. You were fascinated by the frost on the grass, a butterfly flittering through the air, or any strange leaf or rock on the ground. You were full of excitement when you lost a tooth, because it meant the tooth fairy would be coming that night. And you would count down the days to that magical night of Christmas. I'm going to read this whole thing because I think it's so important. Because it meant the tooth fairy would be coming that night, and you would count down the days to that magical night of Christmas. Even though you had no idea how Santa could get to every child in the world in one night. Somehow he did it, and he never let you down. Reindeer could fly. There were fairies in the garden. Pets were like people. Toys had personalities. Dreams came true, and you could touch the stars. Your heart was full of joy. Your imagination knew no limits, and you believed that life was magical. There is an exquisite feeling many of us had as children, that everything is good, that every day promises more excitement and adventure, and that nothing could ever thwart our joy for the magic of it all. But somehow, as we grew into adults, responsibilities, problems, and difficulties took their toll on us. We became disillusioned, and the magic we once believed in as children faded and disappeared. It's one of the reasons why, as adults, we love to be around children, so that we can experience that feeling we once had, even if just for a moment. I am here to tell you that the magic you once believed in is true, and it's the disillusioned adult perspective of life that is false. The magic of life is real, and it's as real as you are. In fact, life can be far more wondrous than you ever thought it was as a child, and more breathtaking, awe-inspiring, and exciting than anything you have seen before. When you know what to do to bring forth the magic, you will live the life of your dreams. Then you will wonder how you ever could have given up believing in the magic of life. You may not see reindeer fly, but you will see the things you've always wanted appearing before your eyes. And you will see the things that you have dreamed of for so long suddenly happening. You will never know exactly how everything weaved together for your dreams to come true, because magic works in the invisible realm, and that's the most thrilling part. Are you ready to experience the magic again? Are you ready to be filled with awe and wonder every day like when you were a child? Get ready for the magic. This is how this freaking thing starts.
It's so good.
If that did not touch your soul and give you any reason to start this gratitude practice, even if, yes, we're on day 5. Who cares? You don't have to be up there with us. Just start.
Yeah.
Wherever you're starting is good enough. Just being in our presence, you're going to feel the magic. It's just so much more powerful than doing it on your own. But guys, I mean, that right there gave me chills.
Yeah, I got chills
again the other day. I was like, oh, this is what our imagination is there for, to fucking create.
Mm-hmm.
Create.
Yes.
And think about this. We talk about how, you know, about going back into the shadow work and all that stuff. And most people it's your childhood where all of the trauma started, where all the disbelief, disillusion, like it says, started.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to. This is taking you back to that child. This is healing it.
Yeah.
What do we say? When you do the gratitude, it starts healing everything. It starts deleting all the stuff that kept you trapped for so long in your mind. Like, life just becomes so beautiful. Like,
yeah.
You're not even going to focus on all the things that went wrong anymore.
Well, and that's the thing is it shifts your perspective of it, right? So then if you do, for whatever reason, it comes up in conversation or it comes up in a memory, you open an old journal, whatever, it's easier for you to see how that circumstance actually did serve you. Because I don't care what you say, no matter what has happened to you in your past, any of us, the universe, God, angels, everybody has always been by your side. Everything has always been working out for you. You just didn't have the perspective to see it that way. So that's why you're like, oh, fuck, poor me, this, that. Like, I don't know if it's in a book or something. I don't know. This woman, like, she has a flat tire and she's going to be late for work. But then it turns out that she ends up avoiding, like, I don't know. She had figured out that the timing of it would have been that she would have been in this like 3-car collision in this intersection. She's like, oh shit. Like, you know, it's saving you. Like, yeah, okay. Nobody wants a flat tire. Nobody wants to pay the money for that. Right. But at the same time, like, what are you being protected from? Right. Like a relationship breakdown, for example, like, okay, yeah, that sucks. Nobody likes to go through a breakup. Right. But what's on the other side of that? Like, that relationship is done. That contract is over. Move on. Right. Like, yes, it sucks. I get it. I've been broken up with, you know, multiple times. I know it's not, you know, it's not a good feeling. But, you know, like when my first long-term boyfriend broke up with me, this is like before I even knew any of this stuff. I remember He broke up with me the day I walked across the stage, got my little diploma, my graduation, with honors, whatever. And then we go out for dinner. And then he ended up breaking up with me later that night. Like, what a dick. Anyway, whatever. It's fine. At least he waited until all the excitement things were over before anyway, it doesn't matter. So I was upset about it, obviously, right? We had been together we were like a week away from our 5th anniversary. I thought we were going to get married, like the whole thing. And I was sad. And then and I let myself be sad. I was like, I'm going to eat all the ice cream. I'm just going to be sad. And then about 3 days later, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm done being sad. I'm not going to listen to sad music. I'm not going to watch sad movies. I'm going to spend so much time on myself. I'm going to start going to the tanning bed again. I'm going to start getting waxed again. I'm going to start doing XYZ again. I'm going to take myself out. And it was awesome. And then what happens? I ended up magnetizing fantastic relationships to me. Not all of them were long-term relationships. Some of them were very short-term relationships, but it doesn't matter because I became magnetic to everything that was good happening for me. Like I ended up magnetizing friends to me and financial resources. There was a point where my friends and I would go out like every weekend and I would go and buy a new outfit to go out, which is like very commercial and unnecessary. But at the time is where I was, right? And it's where I was, but I was having a fucking great time because I was not going to wallow in, okay, it's over. Move on. Like I'm done being sad about it now. Let's focus on the good that's
the
coming.
thing, when you start practicing gratitude, you start getting proof of everything is working out for you.
Yes.
It just releases so much resistance to know like, oh shit, one by one, everything is working out. I can relax. I don't have to be in this constant state of a dysregulated nervous system. Like I'm always being led exactly where I'm supposed to be. The same thing. I mean, I went through a breakup. I was getting broken up with in the hospital and my dad taking him off of life support. I mean, you can't get any more worse than that,
No.
But it had to be that dramatic for something to click in my mind that I'm not on the right path here. I have to let this go to find me, to heal me. And that was like, the beginning of the catalyst putting me on this journey. It had to happen that way. If that person did not do that to me, I would have held on to dear life forever and stayed in my comfort zone and depended on other people outside of me to bring me my happiness and everything that I desire, never stepping into my power. And my power is going to change the fucking world.
So you have to. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. I get it, man. I get it.
Where the path that I was supposed to be on, that I am on, is way more magical. I mean, I can't say it enough times. Like, I just been sitting here like, is this real? Is this real? Fuck yeah, bro. Magic is real, honey. Magic is real. And you are in complete alignment with it.
It's just funny to think like, 10 years ago, I was an employee. I thought I would always be an employee going from, every couple of years I would start a new job because I got bored and I would want to up level and this, and I just figured that was what it was going to be. I didn't believe in any of this stuff. Well, I think part of me kind of believed, like I've always believed that everything happens for a reason, but I never really like understood really what that meant. Like you get it like on a surface level. Saying. You know what I mean? Like you get it, but like not really,
It's just like, give all your problems to God, hand it over to God. Okay, but what does that mean? I just say like, okay, God, here, take all my problems. Like, what does this really mean? Right? Yes, we hand everything over, all of our worries, all of our stresses, and we have faith that this machine that is God, it's our God part of us, is taking care of everything. Our only job is to keep ourselves happy, literally following our joy from moment to moment, not creating any resistance, letting it all go. The more we relax, the more we receive. Because of this book, I mean, I was already starting it to say everything in my life is working out. I mean, now I'm dancing and I'm singing it and I'm yelling it because it really is, and I feel it in the depth of my soul. But think about that shift. Think about it. If us just speaking these affirmations already shifting stuff, to actually feel it deep in your soul, to know it, I mean, I can't even wait now each week to see how many things are shifting and what's being brought into our lives is you're going to have those stories talking about your G-Wagon, the private jet. Like it's here. It's here.
No,
it's here.
It is. And you know what?
Documenting getting on the private jet. Like you guys we're no different than anybody watching.
No.
All of us can have this. All of us.
Everybody. And the coolest thing, like I'm having, like, just, you know, you get kind of like, you think you kind of zoom out and you get kind of like meta with it. And you're like, because I was thinking about how, so Teresa and I have been, like, we've talked about this before. We have been talking about doing this podcast for years. I literally still believe that the only reason we both were in that coaching program is so that we could meet each other and build the same kind of foundations to build on from there, from different perspectives, right? Because yes, we both have money, we both have relationship things, we both have this, we both have that, but we've, you know, mine has been more solidly rooted in financial things, and Teresa's been more rooted in like relationship things, but still, like, it's, anyway. So we meet in 2000. Yeah, totally. We meet in 2018. We had been talking like from the beginning. I remember we really got talking. I had shared a video of these hawks flying above, and she reached out to me. She's like, "Oh my God, hawks, me, that I had to reach out to you, blah, blah, blah." And so a beautiful thing was born. We've been talking about starting a podcast since that point. Okay. And then finally we were like, okay, fuck it. This is like ridiculous. This is never going to happen if we don't just start fucking doing it and sort it out later. Like, we have to just go for it. So January, as you guys know, like I said to her, okay, look, my kids start school on whatever day that week, like, let's do it. Let's sit down. I'll be home by then. I'll be fairly situated. Like, and she's like, yeah, okay, totally cool. Let's do it. So we picked a day, picked a time, started doing it. We did not intend to do book reviews or book clubs or read the magic or any of this. We were just like, whatever, we'll just see each week. We'll just talk about whatever's going on. And we'll just, like, literally every week has been just like, okay, what do you want to talk about today? I don't know. Let's just see what happens. And we just start talking, and, you know, it ends up being amazing, which is what always happens, which is why we want to start the podcast to begin with. But the cool thing is although, yes, last week it was last week, Teresa, or maybe it was even the week before, you started kind of planting the seed about doing the magic. And then last week we decided, okay, we're going to do it. From the outside, it looks like this is a new idea. It looks like this was an idea sprouted in the moment. But Teresa and I know enough to know that this was always part of the plan. Okay. And it's funny too, when you zoom out and look, because I've been, like I said, I've been working on this thing I'm working on kind of behind the scenes. Idea came to me in August. I've been kind of, you know, working on it on and off. Well, it's going to be ready pretty quick. And I didn't mean for this magic that we're doing to coincide with anything else, but it does beautifully. And Teresa too. She, like she said last week, invested in a coach to help her get her business things off the ground and more streamlined to like, she's got things going, but there's always room for improvement, right? There's room for more relaxation, more allowing, more all of that. So she took the leap and, you know, followed the nudge to do something a little bit scary, a little bit outside the comfort zone, right? But something that she, you know, listened to her intuition for, something she knows she was guided to for a reason, something that makes sense for her where she's at. And not only for one aspect, but like many, and we'll talk about that more as it unfolds, but it's just like so exciting. I like having behind the scenes access. But so it's funny because
last night, I hadn't really gone through everything that's in the vaults that they have.
Okay.
And I went through it last night. I mean, there's so much stuff. And I was actually starting to feel a little bit, you know, when fear starts kicking in. And then I looked and I was like, no fucking way. It's literally everything I've been talking about that I want to learn, that I want to create, that I want to know, all in
just step by step
what I signed up for.
Yeah.
Like, I got led. And let me tell you, I had many different marketing companies coming to me, like offering their programs and stuff like that. I just started praying about it and speaking about it, like, okay, please make it clear the one that's for me. And when I spoke with this particular person, like, as soon as I was speaking with them, like, I knew instantly this is where I have to be. And I didn't even know exactly everything that the program entailed. It just, I felt it right with my soul. The energy felt right. And I didn't question it. And then lo and behold, I go in there last night and I'm like shook. everything that I need, that I've been like, oh, I'm going to buy a program here and I'll buy one there, and a little, spending hundreds in all these different places. It's all in one place. It's so like mind blowing. That's why I started crying last night too. I was like, wow, fucking wow. Everything that I need is right here. Now I just got to do the work.
Everything. And it's funny because the timing of it, like, I mean, Teresa and I have said before, like, we are showing up in a way that we have not shown up before. Like, it is, you know, anytime you try to collaborate with anybody too, that adds an extra layer of, I don't know, something, right? Because you're trying to coordinate schedules. You both have your own upper limits. You both have your own limiting beliefs. You both have your own shit that you're working through, right? So then, but on the other hand, it's also really beneficial because now I'm not only showing up for me, I'm also showing up for Teresa. And she's not only showing up for her, she's showing up for me too. So it's like, there's like a teamwork there too. You know what I mean? But
it's an accountability partner too at the same time, you know.
1,000,000%. And then doing the magic with all of you guys, and rather than just the two of us or just individually, that's accountability too, because I want to put my best foot forward. I want to make, you know, obviously I want to look good. I want to put myself in a good, positive light. I want people to know that when I say I'm going to do something, I am going to do it. And it's much more effective to show you that than to say that I do that. Right. Which is another reason why Teresa and I love to be authentic and open and honest, because there's not enough of that going on. And I think it makes it's not fair. You know, I've got suckered into investing in all kinds of things that were not actually what I thought they were, or the people who are teaching them were not actually who they said they were, because I mean, obviously I'm coming from a wounded place. They're coming from a wounded place. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, and there's a time and place for all of it. There's a reason for all of it. There's lessons to be learned, blah, blah, blah. Like, I get all that. I'm just saying that there's a lot of people out there making it look like one thing when it actually isn't that at all, which is another reason why I know that I'm where I need to be and I'm going where I need to go. And my perspective of going from focusing on material shit to like just enjoying life and just every day operates like a miracle. Like, my operating system is that I am a lucky girl and everything is always working out for me. Okay. And then on top of that, because that's my belief system, shit just works out. And not huge manifestations, but like I was saying, like, I go into the store for one thing and it happens to be on sale. And then I go into the next store and that's on sale. It's like a comical by the end. Cause it's like, why is like, you know what I mean? Why is everything working out for me? Because I have a lucky girl operating system. That is how I function. Right. Yeah. And so that's what I want for everybody, is like, it's not about manifestations. Because obviously, like I said, I still have income goals. I still want to be making way more money than I'm making right now so that I can do all kinds of things and build portfolios and invest in this and help my family that and blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, I want a G-Wagon. Yes, I want all these things. I want to be able to buy my husband all these things. I want to be able to buy my father and all this Corvette he wants. I want to be able to pay the property tax for the house, you know, as a surprise, things like that. Like, I want to do all those things. You need money to do those things. However, I also know that no matter what you do want or don't want or whatever, everybody wants peace. Everybody wants contentment. Everybody wants happiness and joy. And so if I can function from that place and just show you that life gets to be fucking amazing, no matter what goal you are or are not hitting, and the fact that the manifestation is just icing on the cake because you don't actually even need it, because the process of living is way better than anything coming to fruition, is just like, that's what I want. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Teresa and I are after, is teaching you, like, you are your own miracle maker. You can live any reality that you want. Literally pick anything that you want to experience in your life, any way you want relationships to flow, any way you want your business to go, any way you want your work. Maybe you're employed and you have no desire to be self-employed. That's fine. Right? I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying that even that can go any way that you want it to, if you do the work to change the way that you believe things have to be.
Yep. And I say that we end this with everybody just speaking to the universe and say, universe, show me how good it gets.
That's literally an alarm I have on my phone. 8:11 a.m. Universe, show me how good it gets. How good it gets to be. Show me how easy it gets to be. All of that jazz. Because things just it gets to be easy. Like, let it be easy. I have been leaning into that more and more and more and more and more especially the last few months, especially since I've been home, especially since January. And I will tell you, I am working less hours. Like I've been looking at it's funny because I realized my laptop has screen time just like my phone does, which makes sense. It's an Apple thing, but I didn't know that. Anyway, so I was looking at my screen time and I was like, my screen time, I mean, I never tracked it before, but I used to spend all fucking day on my computer doing what? I don't even know what, with no results at all. This is where the conversation Teresa and I got into like years ago. And she was like, okay, your guides want to tell you something and they won't leave me alone. So like it was going on for 3 days. She's like, I got to tell you, like the energy is wrong. Like it is no good. You need to stop it like right now. And now, I mean, yes, of course, there's years of, of studying and knowing what works and working with coaches and blah, blah, blah. Like I get all that, but I work minimal. I mean, I still work hours. I love what I do. I don't even like to call it work because I don't feel like it. Like this whole project I'm working on right now, love it. I could spend all day in here, but actually being productive and not just sitting here like being busy, right? There's a difference. But I give myself 4 or 5 hours a day max. We're on spring break right now, so this last couple of weeks has not been that much. But even still, I've worked when I need to. I don't work when I don't want to. If I feel inspired to come in and do something like make some graphics or whatever, I'll do that. If not, fine. I've worked less hours from January, whatever, say January 1st to now. I have worked less hours than I have ever worked, like consistently, stayed true to my boundaries and my work schedule and my hours and stuff, because it's really important to me that I do that and spend more, like I've talked about that before. And I have had more success, more amazing things happen, more magic unfold in all areas, not just in my business, but all the areas, because I'm just leaning in and trusting that everything's going to work out. I'm always being led, and I let what I do be enough. Like a lot of the time on Tuesdays, I do this podcast episode with Teresa, and then I'll do a couple of other things that I need to get done. And then part of me, especially when this first started, old me wants to know I didn't do enough today. And then I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to let that be enough. We channeled all kinds of amazing content for an hour and 17 minutes. I'm going to let that be enough. I'm going to let my work be enough. I'm going to let old videos be enough. And then sure enough, I got old videos resurrecting themselves in my, it's so funny how that works. But you know what I mean? Like just let it be easy. Let yourself be led and then trust that it's enough. And whatever you're led to in that moment or at that time is exactly what you need. And then when the inspiration runs out or the motivation runs out or the energy runs out or whatever, okay, that's it. I'm done for the day. Let it be enough.
It has to be enough because, I mean, we should take only, inspired action, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not from a place of lack. When we're doing it from a place of lack and I don't have enough we're creating more of that because that's the vibe and the energy that we're giving off and it's coming back to us. When we do it from a place of inspired action, right? Where it's like a good feeling emotion, you're creating more of that.
Well, and that energy that you're creating from.
If you are feeling so much resistance to do something, don't fucking do it. It's not meant to be done in that moment.
Yeah,
you don't want to create anything from that energy and from that space.
Yeah, like anything that comes from should is not, right? You don't want to do it from that energy. You want to wait until you feel like, obviously there's a fine line too between self-sabotage and like waiting for inspiration and all that. So there is that too. And that's a conversation for another day that we just don't have time to get. We've already gone way over. But, anytime you feel like you should is when you should probably do the opposite of that. Of whatever you feel like you should be doing, do the opposite of that. So anytime I feel like I should, and even still, like, I think I'm still operating a little bit here and there from like the ego trying to come in and say, you should be working harder. You should be spending more time on your computer. You're not working enough, blah, 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 which is like, then I say bullshit because I've made more money in the last couple of months than I have, like, you know what I mean? Like it's working for me. I'm not, it's not a problem. But anytime I get that like nudge, like for example, when the house is empty and I could easily sneak into my office to do some things, and I feel like I should take advantage, I'm like, no, you know what? And that's one of the reasons why I laid outside the other day with the book and I just laid in the sun, because I got that, like, maybe I should get up and work on, X, Y, Z. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do the opposite of that, which is nothing. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to enjoy the sunshine.
You got exactly what you needed.
And then I got exactly what I needed and ended up having a more productive afternoon well, it was actually more productive, like 10 minutes, than it would have been because I would have sat at this computer and forced myself to create, especially creative things. Like creativity is something you cannot force. You have to wait for the inspiration, but then you have to be okay to act on it when it comes. You know what I mean? But anyway, my point is leaning into the gratitude that I am supported, knowing that everything is always working out for me. And Teresa, the same thing, right? We're very much on the same situation right now in that way. And we continue being led and guided and inspired with the ideas, the creativity, the opportunities, the resources that we need to execute on what we're meant to execute on. And like I said, we did not have any, when we started this podcast, I had no intention, she had no intention of launching anything, offering anything. Like we didn't intend for it to go anywhere except for like, let's just show up for ourselves and let's let our conversations be heard by more people. That was like the beginning and end of it, because we feel bad having these conversations back and forth, video message or whatever in, Instagram or whatever. And then nobody ever gets to hear. It's like, nobody people would benefit from hearing what we're talking about right now.
Yep.
And that's where the podcast came from. And that's what we're doing now. And then, like I said, Teresa had the inspired idea for the magic, but really it was always supposed to be that way. We just didn't know it yet, which is the coolest part.
Yep.
Oh, okay, you guys, we went like way later than we meant to today. So sorry, but also you're welcome. And thank you for hanging out with us. So like I said, for the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about, and the conversations are going to be revolving around the magic, the book, the practices, the epiphanies, the breakthroughs, the questions. So next week will be, at this time next week will be on day 11. So for those of you who have read the intro, the first 12 days are all about gratitude for things that have already happened. Then the following 10 days are gratitude for our desires and things like that. And then the final 6 days are where it really ramps up and gratitude becomes like part of your being, like into your cells, into your soul, into your, all of it. So I am so excited to have this unfold because look at all the amazing things that are already happening. And we're only on day 5. Like we're barely even into it and we're already experiencing all of this. So like Teresa said, if you haven't started yet, that's fine. Get a copy. You can get it for free. Multiple places online. You can order a copy. I like to have the physical copy. This is actually, I've now the second time I've bought it because I gave my first copy away when we moved.
Probably like my fourth.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Fourth one, yeah.
So get a copy of the magic. Your life will never be the same. You will be so thankful that you took part in it. Get a friend to do it with you too. If you are, especially if you're starting late and you don't want to do it totally by yourself, which you're still not, but get a friend to do it with you, spread the love, spread the magic, and let's experience it together. But we'll see you back here next Thursday, 11-ish for more magic, literally. Okay. Thanks you guys. Have a good rest of your day. We love you
guys. Have a good day.